Oren was counting down every hour, minute, and second. The toast on his stick business was as lively as ever, but right now it seemed that no amount of incoming money was enough to distract him from his problems. He was anxious for 4 o'clock to hit. Once it did, then Blue would show up. After that, Oren could go to the banana packaging factory, find Vio, and ask for his job back. Assuming that all worked out, then Oren would have insurance and he could remarry Rhea and be there for the birth of his daughter. Oren checked the time on his phone. 3:57. Oren wondered what Blue did with all his time when he wasn't at the bread cart. Back when Oren worked at the factory, he knew at least a little about what some of his co-workers did outside of the job. There wasn't much time for interaction during shifts, but after work, he and Vio would occasionally go out for drinks, and Vio would tell him stories about getting into fights in high school, or how nice it was to be making money full time while his friends wasted their lives in college. Blue, on the other hand, seemed content to say nothing about his personal life. Oren wondered what he did with his mornings, what he had done this morning. A whole minute early, Oren turned and saw Blue standing next to the cart. He hadn't even seen him approach. "Oh, hey, didn't see you there," said Oren. "How are things?" asked Blue. Business has been. Oren stopped mid-sentence, remembering that when Blue asked a question such as that, he wasn't actually asking about money. It was still weird to get used to that. "I'm doing fine." Blue nodded slowly. "Is this another one of those fines that really means you're not fine?" "You think you know everything?" asked Oren. He tried to sound defiant, but he took a step back from Blue. "Sometimes someone says they're fine because they're fine." "Didn't mean to offend," said Blue, putting his hands up. "I only asked because I've never seen you with a knife at work." Oren looked down at the narrow shelf inside the cart and saw the knife. And yes, he had brought and placed it there, just as a little insurance for later. "Just figured I'd have it handy, in case I need to slice the bread or something." "That's the beauty of modern bread," said Blue. "It comes pre-sliced." Oren forced out a laugh. "Yeah, that's true, isn't it?" Oren shrugged, then let out a sigh when the silence in the air didn't break. "I guess there is one thing that's been bothering me." As Oren was talking, a woman walked up to the bread cart, money in hand. "Well, let it out then," said Blue. "What's on your mind?" Well, Oren trailed off as he glanced at the woman, then back at Blue, then back at the woman. "Oren?" asked the woman. "Is that you?" "Ma'am," said Blue, turning his head toward the woman. "My apologies, but we're having a conversation. We'll assist you as soon as we're able." "Blue," said Oren. "No, it's okay," said Blue. "We can finish our conversation. Customers are secondary." "Yes," said Oren, but he looked back at the woman. "Oren, what are you doing here?" she asked. "Ma'am," said Blue, now turning his whole body, "we're temporarily closed. You may wait until our conversation is done, or—" "Blue, that's my sister," Oren said. Oren turned toward the woman. "Sorry about that, Cyana. This is Blue." He gestured toward him. "And, well, we sell toast here." "Oh," said Cyana. She was quiet for a moment and just nodded slowly. Her lips arched into a slight frown. "I thought you had that other job. What was it?" "I used to work at this banana packaging factory," said Oren. "Things didn't work out so well there." Oren gave an uncomfortable laugh. "We can't all start up our own banking empires." 50 locations is hardly an empire," said Cyana with a dismissive wave. "But it's not nothing," said Blue. He perked up. "You probably gave a loan to the banana factory, didn't you?" Cyana cocked her head. Yeah? How'd you know?" "Just a guess," said Blue, shrugging. "But it does mean that you have some leverage. So if you wanted, you could probably help Oren get his job back." "I mean, that depends, maybe, but Suddenly, Oren heard a beeping noise coming from somewhere on Blue's body. Blue looked down quickly, then back up. "Hey, why don't you two just take a walk down to the factory?" said Blue. "You can bond a little. It seems like you haven't spoken in a while. Nothing's more important than family and all that stuff, you know." Blue practically started pushing Oren out of the cart as the beeping sound continued. Oren didn't even realize he was leaving his knife behind. "You two have fun now," said Blue, the words rushing from his mouth. "Good luck with your job." Oren thought Blue was acting strange, but he was right. Cyana might be the only person at this point that could help him get his job back and see the birth of his daughter. As they made their way to the factory, Oren began filling his sister in on the whole story. How he got fired, lost his insurance, then divorced. He didn't tell her about the bet he had with Veal, and about all the money he'd get if Veal's name happened to show up in an obituary. By the time they got to the factory, Cyana seemed even more angry with the whole situation than Oren himself was. She pounded on the door, but no one came to open it. Cyana pulled out her phone and made a call, although Oren wasn't sure to whom. At first he thought it might have been Veal, but then he wasn't sure because he didn't know why Cyana would have Veal's number. Nevertheless, it was Veal who came to the door a few moments later. "We want to see the owner," said Cyana. "The owner said you talk to me," said Veal. "Well, at least let us inside," said Cyana. Veal glanced around, although Oren wasn't sure what he was looking for, and then sighed before slowly ushering them through the door. "I'll lay it out simply," said Cyana. "You give people their jobs back, or the interest rates on your loan for this factory go up." "We do have people working here," said Veal. "And where would they be?" asked Cyana, looking around. "They come in a couple times a month to make sure the robots are still working," said Veal. "Change batteries and whatnot." "Our bank doesn't believe in factory automation as a legitimate means of financial solvency," says Cyana. "So if you read your contract, you'll see we can raise your interest rates for that." "What's this all about, really?" asked Veal. He folded his arms across his chest. "My brother needs health insurance. If he's full-time here, then he gets that." "What do you need health insurance for?" asked Veal, spitting on the ground. Oren was surprised to see Veal spit like that, but when he looked around the factory more, he noticed that things generally seemed to be deteriorating. Next to one machine, there was a pile of browning bananas, considering the bananas weren't even ripe when they came onto the belt. Oren figured they must have been sitting there for some time, or at least for a few hours in the factory heat. "It's no matter what he needs insurance. I wasn't talking to you," said Veal, cutting off Cyana. "I was talking to Oren. If I'm talking to Oren, my good friend, then Oren can answer." "Now, Oren, what do you need health insurance for?" "Oren, you don't need to talk to this guy." Cyana glanced at her brother. "It's fine," said Oren. He took a deep breath and looked straight at Veal. "I need insurance so I can see my daughter's birth." Veal gave a quick laugh. "It's funny. I'm also getting ready to have a daughter in about 2 days." "You never mentioned you were expecting," said Oren, a bit confused. Oren knew he hadn't been gone from the factory all that long. The last time he and Veal had gone out for a drink hadn't even been a week ago. If Veal had been expecting a baby all that time, he found it odd that he hadn't said anything. "I'm not," said Veal. "My wife is." "You're married?" asked Oren. Veal hadn't mentioned that either. And that's when Oren figured it out. "What's her name?" Oren's voice was calm. "Your wife. What's her name?" "Oren," said Cyana. "Let's stay focused here." "Rhea," said Veal. Oren didn't hesitate as he charged at Veal and engaged him in an impromptu wrestling match. Oren had never fought anyone in his life, but his charge was so unexpected that he temporarily gained the upper hand on Veal. Veal quickly regained control, however, and started pushing Oren back. Oren could tell Veal was trying to throw him to the ground, but as Veal took a step forward, Oren saw his foot hit one of the bananas and he slipped, falling onto the conveyor belt. Before anyone had time to react, The robot on the belt had grabbed Veal and attempted to seal him on a styrofoam tray. The results were gruesome. Oren had never seen someone's body bent like twist ties. He was surprised there wasn't really any blood. God, Oren, did you kill him? Yelled Cyana. Is he dead? I don't know, said Oren, his whole body shaking from within. I don't know. Oren started backing away from the scene. By this point, the robot had stopped working, even though bananas were still flying by. This caused the red light to start flashing. What did you do? The voice startled Oren, and he looked around trying to figure out who said that. Suddenly, the robot turned around to face them. You two, said the robot. Get out of here now, before they see you. Oren and Cyana looked at the robot, then at each other, and then sprinted out of the factory, leaving only chaos behind them.